Skill 2, Documenting Poor Performance. Skill 2, Documenting Poor Performance. Treat documentation as a communication tool to preserve facts and remove ambiguities. Experienced supervisors know that the first question their boss will ask when they propose terminating a problem employee is, "Do you have all the documentation you need?" The best answer? Sure. I've built a file that documents everything completely. We're on solid ground. The wrong answer? No, but I'll put some documentation together so we're safe. Document personnel matters as they occur, not weeks or months later. To serve their purpose, documents must reflect a complete, accurate account of what individuals discussed and what events transpired on a specific date. Failing to maintain ongoing documentation can not only embarrass you in front of your boss and human resources director, but also limit your organization's ability to terminate poor employees. You may then falsely conclude that your employer does not support you. The benefits of documentation far outweigh the time and effort of noting performance-related conversations with your workers. By writing what topics were discussed, who was present, what issues or concerns arose, and what promises or agreements were made, you build a paper trail for future reference. Amassing a well-documented employee file prevents misunderstandings among all parties and affords legal protection to you and your employer in the event of litigation. At its best, documentation describes the highlights of a conversation, like a report on the evening news. It summarizes negotiated terms, that is, who will do what by what deadline, warnings issued to an employee, specific performance measures that you reviewed together, and itemized commitments by all sides. Proper documentation sticks to the facts. Don't treat your notes of conversations with employees as a personal journal where you express opinions and share emotions. Documents can become public record in a court of law, so keep clear, professional notes. Write in a detached tone, as if you're an outsider detailing what happened from a safe distance. Focus on quality of work, behavior and conduct, attendance and availability. Do not attack an employee's character or become an armchair diagnostician by focusing on your employee's psychological makeup. Include exhibits and other support to build airtight documentation. Examples: insert complaint letters from customers as evidence of an employee's poor service delivery. File copies of time cards as proof of an employee's chronic tardiness. File a copy of a consultant's analysis of an employee's poor productivity. When documenting disciplinary meetings with employees, take notes that summarize 3 elements of the conversation. First, the acceptable standard of performance or minimal expectation as it applies to the matter under discussion. Second, the extent to which the employee did or did not meet the objectives specified above. Specify any violations and/or resulting disciplinary actions. Third, the employee's perspective, response, or position in addressing the issue. Give a detailed account of his or her points, even if you disagree or doubt their validity. Ask an employee to review and sign an acknowledgment of your documentation. While some workers may refuse to comply, your offer shows good faith. You signal that you want to keep transparent records that accurately reflect what everyone agrees has occurred. Document any instances when employees reject your offer to read or sign your notes. Warning: be an equal opportunity note taker. Don't just document the failings of poor employees. Build a file on every worker, noting performance issues, good and bad, for everyone on your team. Documenting positive performance makes you appear as a supervisor who is fair and without an axe to grind. If you limit your documentation to troublemakers, you can wind up on shaky legal ground if opposing counsel claims you were out to get a certain individual from the start while you ignored or protected others. Here's a tip. Block 10 minutes a day to document your substantive discussions with employees. The best time to reserve your documentation is the last 10 minutes before you leave the office. That way, the day's events are fresh in your mind. After you document your employees' files, create a ritual of locking your file cabinet as your final act of the workday. It's true, employees and their attorneys routinely dispute what you may deem an irrefutable fact. That's why it's important to beef up a file with evidence to support your documentation. Consider including detailed eyewitness reports, photos, copies of dated emails, or other exhibits that underscore the unambiguous nature of the facts.